Jason and Jim Westerberg. How you guys doing?
Good, good.
Hey, thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule to let me tag along with you guys in the boat.
Man, we appreciate you coming to Arkansas.
Man, it is absolutely beautiful, and what a crazy drive to get here from Hot Springs. I mean, that was like an Indy road, was it?
Yeah.
Where do you guys call home base?
Conway, Arkansas.
Oh, Conway. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah,
We're an hour from the lake. We're on here, Lake Nimrod. We're an hour.
an hour from there, and I was an hour from Hot Springs. So this is kind of like, I would say, 100 miles off from being kind of dead center in Arkansas, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Little bit north.
A little bit north.
Yeah.
It's a centrally located lake.
And it's a beautiful lake. My goodness.
It is.
And we have gone up the river system.
Yeah. We ran up the river, try to get out of the wind. It's a little windy out there today.
A lot of people fishing. This must be a pretty productive lake. Am I right?
It is. You'll catch a lot of fish. You know, there's certain areas that holds good fish.
Uh-huh.
But there's some areas that are small, but you catch a lot.
Yeah, I saw a ton of people fishing. I saw some bass rods out there being thrown.
Yeah. It looks like they're having a little Sunday bass tournament.
Is that what's going on?
It looks like it.
Very cool. And you guys are preparing for a tournament, so I thought maybe what I'd do today on this episode of Fish, Eat, Live is kind of pick your brain on some pre-tournament fishing tips and techniques.
Sure.
So I know we're going to fish a little bit, and you said that we're biting. We're going to catch a few fish.
Oh, yeah.
But what are some of the things that, first and foremost, that you do in preparation for a tournament?
Well, the first thing I do is I kind of figure the lake level. That's the first thing I look at. Figure out if it's a normal level. The lake's rising, falling. You know, that's key, especially on a core lake. And that was number one that I looked at. Right now, it's steady.
Uh-huh.
We're holding steady. We had a storm last night. It didn't do anything to the lake. It's sitting at a normal pool and not losing or gaining right now. So what we do then is then I kind of figure out which depth I want to start with.
Okay.
And on this lake here, when it gets hot in the summertime, the fish tend to go shallow.
Okay.
They don't go deep. They go shallow. They go in 3 to 10 foot of water.
Is that strange?
Most lakes around here, they're not like that. This
Yeah.
is about the only lake in this area that they really do that. You know, like Lake Dardanelle, you're going to catch them in 10 to 15 to 20 foot of water.
Right.
This lake here, you go opposite, and it's the oxygen level.
Is that the deal?
That's the deal.
Yeah.
You've got, the oxygen level changes. They can get better oxygen in shallower water, so they come into the shallower water on this lake. And this thing comes up and down all throughout the year, and I think that affects it too.
Yeah.
I think it it really doesn't ever per se like turn over like a lake that's
Stagnant?
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn over, but it does have low oxygen in a lot of the lake.
Okay.
In the summertime.
So the thermocline never really truly develops? Is that what you're saying?
Not until closer to the end of
August?
summer.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
You'll get a thermocline, and those fish will come a foot off the top of the water.
Yeah.
And it's a neat lake. It's a fun lake. You can crankbait fish, you can spider rig fish, single pole, live scope, cast, whatever you want to do on this lake. There's stake beds, there's just stumps, there's all kinds of flats. It's a great fishery.
Nimrod Lake in
Yeah.
Arkansas, and definitely a destination location for vacationers and water sports. They allow that on the lake
there's
too?
a certain area you can water ski, and
Yeah.
but that's the joy of this lake for us fishermen is it's not pressured on the water skiing part of it.
Okay, yeah.
There's some locals that do, but maybe
Yeah.
you come up here in the summertime and get away from all that
Yeah.
ruckus of jet skiing, jet skis and wakeboard boats, and you'll catch a lot of fish. There's trips we'll come up here and we'll catch 150 fish in
Yeah.
a half-day trip.
Yeah.
It's a great place to bring kids and family and a great campground. They really take care of the campgrounds up here, and there's a great bait shop up here called Andrew's Bait and More. And
I saw that.
He'll take care of you, make you a hamburger or
Yeah.
pizza, and he's got some cabins up there. He's a great people.
Well, I got to tell you, on the way here, I only had about a half tank of gas. So when I saw that bait store, I was like, oh, thank goodness they got gas. Otherwise, I might be hitchhiking back. But so water level's one of the first things you check.
Yes, sir.
Temperature, and then you try to find, that type of depth that you assume that you're going to be fishing in the tournaments.
Yeah, I've got my maps on my GPSs, and I look at those, but some of this is not mapped.
Yeah.
So it goes back to just history. Use
For-
Google Maps. You can kind of look at Google and kind of figure out what depths are by that if it's a shallow, part of the lake or whatever, and I kind of mark areas I want to check.
Yeah.
And with the water coming down, I wanted to check the river system, and I think a lot of the guys are checking it, because right now the fish have moved back into the rivers and kind of out of the main lake.
Okay.
So it's it's productive to do.
And then once you've got that kind of figured out, and you put the pieces together with a puzzle with the your navionics and your sonar units, how important is pre-fishing?
Well, with the new technology, pre-fishing isn't as important to me. I'll go into an area and I'll find if it's 7 foot of water and it's a stake bed, and I'll pull in there and I'll catch some good fish off of it. I'll leave it alone, and then I'll go find another place that's like that. But I won't even, if I see big fish in it, I don't even pitch to them.
You don't even pitch to them?
We leave it alone.
See, that's why Kent Driscoll was so mad at me at the Kentucky tournament.
Yeah, you wanted to keep holding
I couldn't stop, man. I was like, it's a big one. I'll put him right back, and I just lowered him right down in there. And
we'll work on him today.
Yeah.
Try to fix what we're doing here.
But man, we had a fun time, and I know that tournament trail. There's a lot of great camaraderie, wouldn't you say? You guys have fun with that?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. That's what we enjoy. We enjoy going and fishing the national trails, American Crappie Trail. We fish it. We enjoy going and seeing the guys and getting out there and competing against people from other states.
Well, you guys have done pretty well, haven't you?
Yes, sir. We've been fairly successful. We've
Yeah.
done good. We make a good team. That's what matters.
Yeah.
You got to have a good partner.
And how blessed are you to be fishing with your father?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Very blessed.
that's a very trusting soul there. Yeah, you guys aren't going to argue about splitting up that money at the end of the day.
We don't argue about that, but there's some arguments in the boat now, don't
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about one argument.
Oh, my goodness. Live scoping, it really's changed. He likes to tangle my line up.
You go for him, huh?
He's got to get in the way sometimes. He's got to go.
When you got this boat rigged to the nines with live scope.
Yes,
so.
yes. We like the perspective view and the forward view, and then I've got the 360 for finding stumps and brush as well. Technology's where it's at now.
Yeah.
It's taken over the crappie market. When I started, I guess I've been doing this tournaments 22 years now. When I started, it was wasn't even side image available, and I watched it evolve and seen all the trouble everybody said it was going to cause, and now we've moved to 360, and everybody was saying how much trouble it was going to cause, and now you got the live scope, and you're hearing the same thing. But if everybody will just do their due diligence and keep the fish that they want to eat and not overkeep fish, I think everybody's going to be good.
I found that, it's kind of actually made me a snob, where I don't want to keep the bigger fish.
Right.
And with the confidence of knowing that you're going to catch fish, you don't keep as many. On a good day back in the day when you caught crappie, boy, you hoarded them. Am I right?
That's right.
And
you didn't know you were going to catch. Now you're pretty confident you're going to catch your mess of fish that you want.
In a weird
back
way.
then you couldn't.
In a weird way, this crazy technology that allows us to catch them at any given day, it's become a form of conservation in the aspect that you don't keep as many because you have that confidence that you'll catch them whenever you need them.
Right.
Is that a fair statement?
It is.
I've found that.
I enjoy the new technology. I think it's great. It's getting some of the younger people into the sport.
Yeah.
And you've seen a change of the age group that's getting into it, and I enjoy seeing that. Everybody just needs to do their part. Just keep what they want, and throw those big fish back unless you really plan on mounting it. Those big, over 2+ pound fish, they're not good. As good to eat.
No, I like those little ones.
11 to 13, 14 inch. Those are good eating fish.
And now they do a replica that you can't tell it's not a skin mount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If it's not a trophy fish, if you want to do a replica, but if you get in that 3.5 pound, 3 pound, 3.5, 4 pound, 5 pound fish, there's, I would say, get it mounted. We try to do our best in the tournament trails and all that to throw fish back, and that really makes a big difference. And everybody keeps them healthy. I love how the American Crappie Trail has the release boat and lets the fish back. And you got your local clubs that really they don't have that. They can't do that.
Yeah.
it's tough. But you know, when you're looking at a 20 boat field and 7 fish, that's 140. I mean, that's not that.
Yeah.
You know, people take them home. Heck, that's sometimes that's one pontoon boat full, of cooler full.
That's true. That's true. So you've got basically Humminbird, Lowrance,
Yes, sir.
Garmin. Well, you got something against Raymarine or something. I mean, you've got how many you got on here? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, sir.
You guys are technically sound.
Well, we are, and you know, it's you got to be with technology, and it's changing every day, and each brand has their own
highlighted use.
Like Lowrance has great maps.
Uh-huh.
Humminbird has a great map. You got to have them both. Garmin has a great map.
Yeah.
If I could fit another one here on the side here, I'd put a Garmin for another map, because maps are critical when we're going out of town. We're talking about pre-fishing. I study the maps before we go to a lake.
Do you come out to the boat and turn it on and kind of zoom in and out?
I sit in the boat and I mark spots on there that I say, hey, that looks good on there.
Yeah.
And that's where we go check. You know, I'll take those areas when we get ready to go, and we'll say this is spot A, B, C, D, and we'll go to those spots and try them. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you know, until you figure it out, especially on a lake that's not your home body. When you're going to, like when we go to per se Kentucky Lake, you know, it's been a challenge to figure that lake out. I've fished from the dam all the way down to the you know, past the I-40 bridge on that lake, and I marked everything on the GPS. And the last couple of years, I've found some spots that are really productive off the GPS.
Yeah.
That wasn't from just fishing. That was from studying the maps and the GPS.
Yeah.
It's really helped us out. You know, for say that lake and Grenada. You know, it's, you know, when we go to Grenada or Mississippi Lake, we always use Google, like, you know, Google or the Google Earth or something like that, like I said earlier. And you can look at the lakes there. On the drawdown lakes, even Nimrod, they draw it down. You can see the channels and the pockets and the stumps.
Right.
You look at those resources. Lots of resources. You just got to look at them and use them and go from there.
Yeah.
Some of the next step is you got to figure out what you want to use. Do you want to cast? Do you want to just drop on the fish? You know, the live scope. Do you want a spider rig? Crankbait fish? You just got to figure it out. And we always start out with pretty much. I start out casting to the fish.
Right.
When I get to a lake, I'll find which structure I want to fish, or the fish are suspended. I'll cast to it. And if the fish aren't taken to the casting, then we'll drop on them. We'll either use a 16-foot BGJP to drop on them, or we've been using the stick some to drop on them. But my favorite right now is a 16-foot pole.
That seems to be kind of the consensus for most of the tournament pros that I've interviewed. Lamar Bunning likes that. Kyle Schoenherr, he likes that a lot. And well, I think we probably have talked enough. I don't want to keep you guys from doing your pre-fishing, but I'd love to, you know, be just kind of a fly on the wall and watch you guys kind of practice for your upcoming tournament.
We're going to get you up there and let you fish some too.
So yeah, I'm excited to do that. And so let me ask you, Jim, being the dad of this team, what do you think about all this technology?
Well, at first it was a little intimidating to change from the spider rigging and to go to this technology, but I can see the value in it. And most of all, what I see is, as I was getting older, I was seeing that a lot of us tournament fishermen were getting old. And there's kind of a window in there of age.
Okay.
And the one thing that I think has really, really helped the fishing group now is that having the Garmin and that technology, the kids are getting into it.
The younger guys are dominating because they're so darn good at video games and everything. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
And that's awesome. I mean, that can only help propel the sport.
That's going to help us.
The sport is at a transition right now that it's going to grow tremendously. It's been growing. I mean, heck, you're talking panfish, one of the number one, fish that are sought after, and it's just growing leaps and bounds. I mean, I've seen it here in Arkansas go from when we'd have a tournament, we'd have 10 boats to having up to 40 boats at a tournament in just the central area of our state, and having 100, 150 members join in a small crappie club. Yeah, and then there's just it's neat. I've enjoyed watching it grow, and it's fun.
I did a show with Charlie Bunting.
Yes, sir.
And oh, what a character! I mean, he's like a human cartoon, and he just has so much experience and wisdom and respect.
Oh, yeah.
When I was doing that show, Matthew Rogers came by,
Sure.
a youngin.
Oh,
you could consider that guy a youngin in the sport, and very successful. And he had a really good point. He said, we got to stop calling them panfish, because they're sport fish.
That's right.
And it's becoming more and more sporting and more competition. And I thought, man, that kid is just pretty darn sharp to even think of the vernacular of how to actually, propel the sport.
I still like my pan fried though.
Oh, I do too, man. Yeah. What's your guys' recipe on this? I'm going to ask Jim. You seem like a seasoned character. How's your favorite way of cooking these fish?
Well, there's a couple ways. I like to soak them in beer first.
Soak them in beer.
Soak them in beer.
Well, that way you have to open a couple beers. Am I right?
It gives them a little bit of a different flavor.
Does it?
It does. It really does. And then
What's your favorite beer to soak them in?
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite.
Yeah.
All right.
And then offer the option of flour. Roll them in flour with salt and pepper.
Okay.
That's the old way. You got your Louisiana mixes now that if somebody wants them spicy.
Yeah.
And then you can always fall back to the one my wife likes, which is just cornmeal.
Makes it a little sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, hey, I like that recipe. That recipe allows you to crack a couple beers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like beer. Tom T. Hall. So, hey, I don't want to take up your guys' time anymore. Thank you guys for talking to me about this and kind of giving us a good insight on how to kind of gauge a new lake that you're fishing, whether it be a tournament or maybe just a guy's weekend or maybe just a family vacation. This technology is definitely taking kind of the worry out of whether or not you're going to catch fish, and I'm excited to see how you guys do this. You guys ready to catch some?
Let's do it.
All right, thank you so much. Let's do it. Man, I feel like I'm at the helm of some starfighter pilot thing, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
This is quite the unique setup. How do you have all that mounted there?
We've got it mounted on a cornfield crappie mount.
Yeah.
And I adapted for the back unit, but those are both on the cornfield, and I worked with the cornfield when I originally set this up. This is before pre-live scope. This is how we had it set up for spider rigging.
Okay.
So they really didn't have the adjustable mounts and all that when we done it. So I had them make me a couple different brackets, and we've got it mounted downward. I mean,
it's not going anywhere.
No, it's rigid. I've had it on there for 3 years like that now, and it's not going anywhere. So
very cool.
Great mount, great products.
Absolutely.
And then we got Dad's over here. His is on a separate stand. Where it's adjustable.
CornfieldCrappieGear.com. A lot of the pros are using that, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot of guys are, and there's a couple others out there that are using. We ended up, that's a double seat mount there. Dad's is. It's where he can take it off and put it in his boat when he wants to. It's portable.
Oh,
or
cool.
if we want to put it in our duck boat during duck season to go hit one of the ox bows or something, we'll have a live scope we can take with us. He's got his on a Sea Light pole.
Yeah, this pole is slick looking. We'll have to talk about that and show me the actual pole mount out of the water. I mean, that is very, very unique.
And when you want to swing it up out of the boat when you're going to run,
yeah,
you don't have to take it out. Pop it up here, swing it over, lock it down. Away you go.
Oh, and it's pretty too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who makes that?
Sea Light.
Sea Light.
Yes, sir. They're actually based out of Russellville, Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
They're one of the owners fishes in our club with us, Caleb Jones. But they've got a website, sealight.com.
Sealight.com. All right.
Yes, sir. Or just Google Sea Light. And they're actually originated out of making lights for duck hunting.
Oh.
Put on your boats.
Yeah.
Bright sea light, and they have bright, good bright lights that you mount around the front of your boats.
Right,
and all
right.
that, and for bow fishing. So
Very
then
cool.
they've gotten into crappie fishing the last couple of years, and they're making some neat products like the pole, the transducer pole and all that. So
Yeah, that's one of the slickest and prettiest ones I've seen. A lot of people are just making them out of PVC, and the next thing they know, they lose them because they forget to pull them up when they're heading out.
They need to give Sea Light a call and get them a transducer pole.
Absolutely. Okay, so this is a very unique setup. You've got 2 bobber stoppers and what looks like a bass worm weight.
That's correct, yes sir.
And that's what actually allowed you to get unhung.
That's correct.
Can you explain that?
Well, when you're hung up and this is hung up and you start letting it down, that pulls as it's falling down. Is it's pulling that hook, and you just keep bouncing it, and it'll let that hook let loose.
Eventually knock the jig
That's
off
correct.
the brush pile.
There's a crappie right there.
Oh my goodness! All right, nice job, Jim.
A little fella.
Wow, that is just the most unique setup.
Yeah, like I said, he's using a crappie magnet, and I'm using a Pops jig, a feather jig. They're great feather jigs. I love them.
Very cool.
For live scope, I never really used a feather jig much. And
yeah.
we always use just a plastic, but when you have to downsize a feather jig, the crappie magnet has some feather jigs as well.
Yeah.
And
those Popeye
jigs are really good.
That setup is so unique because that allows you to knock off your jig without using like one of those knockers,
Little
like
retrievers. Yeah.
Yeah, because Brian Oldham and Dude Maddox had an apparatus that went on the line and just slid down the line and knocked it off. But this way you can get it undone without actually going on the brush pile.
And then when you're fishing in tighter cover and stuff, you can adjust that down and get it where it's a little bit closer.
Okay.
Or you can adjust it up, and it also affects the fall. When it falls, if you get it up higher,
it's a slower pendulum fall.
Well, this weight comes down, and once you get it over where it's perpendicular with your pole, that jig finally just pendulums.
Yep. And they love that, don't
they? Love it. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
If you can hit it just right, that they will not resist hitting it when it comes in like that, because it's just a reaction. I mean, one thing I've learned is you're pretty much getting the reaction bites that you weren't getting before spider rigging. Before you were putting the bait in front of them and holding it and not knowing what you were doing. Now you're getting that reaction bite. You're holding this in front of the fish and you're just making them angry, and you're getting that I'm gonna attack it. Before it was you really just had to hold the trolling rods right in front of them.
And I noticed that you had the jig tipped with a minnow but tied with a loop knot.
That's correct.
And that gives that jig the proper presentation.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
That way it sets up perfect like a minnow.
And when you pop it like that, it kind of flutters back down.
Okay. Got it. Very cool. Thank you for that tip.
Absolutely.
Are those crappie out there floating around right now?
Yeah, a lot of these were suspended fish.
Okay. See, I'm going to try to go over the top of this one here. I was coming on it. I got it. Hey, look at that.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
It can be done. I like this. Little tiny crappie, but still, man, that's so much fun to do. Very cool. Well,
I get some talking to from the wives from the members of the club.
What do they say? What do they ask you?
What have you possessed my husband to do?
Yeah.
Now he needs a new motor for his boat too.
Yeah.
A new depth finder.
Yeah, it can get expensive.
It's good though. This is kind of fun.
Oh, what is that right there on my screen? Is that just a drum or something? You got a length to it.
No. It's
Oh, you're pitching on him.
Yeah, I'm going for him.
Okay.
Right there.
All right, get him now. That's a big one if you got him. Oh, here he comes. Bigger fish. Oh my gosh, you got a net? Please don't lose that fish.
Probably will.
Don't lose that fish.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the net. It's right there.
Oh, this is killing me. This is killing me. Jim got him. Oh my gosh. Look at that tank. Oh my gosh.
That's what we've been catching.
That's a tournament fish there.
That's what we're looking at. That's what we've been looking for.
Hold him right up to that camera, man. What is that, 15, 16?
Yeah, it's a 15.5-inch fish. He probably weighs 170. There he is.
Oh, it's a good eater size.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. That's what you want to eat.
Right there, that's perfect.
That's perfect fillet, perfect fish to eat.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna let him go because I'm not gonna have time to clean him today.
Okay, well I'll take him.
You want him?
No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that's awesome.
It's a fun. Well, I enjoy it.
Yeah, this will be my new Christmas gift. Christmas in July. Haven't you heard that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And where's this? This is smooth as silk too.
It is.
Who makes this again?
Sea Light. Sea Light, yes sir. Give them a call. They're good guys. They're crappie fishermen, so you know that. They've gotten into the sport and doing some tournaments. They fish. Like I said, Caleb fishes with us in our local club here, and and his partner do a good job. There's a bunch of it. I mean, it's gonna take 13 pounds to win.
Really? Oh, kind of up there at 40. Oh, 15?
30. You notice we sit down. A lot of guys are standing or in the bike seats.
Yeah.
We want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
That wears your legs out.
It does.
It's harder to stay on the fish when you're sitting. That's what I've learned. But we're adjusting to it. I mean,
and you won't have a neck headache. Yes. You know, looking down.
Looking down, because I mean, when you're up there in that unit, you're always looking down. Right? I mean, we're looking forward.
Yeah. I like this setup, guys. Mike Baker doesn't even have a chair in his boat, other than the driver's one.
I can't do that.
Yeah. And granted, Mike's a great guy. Oh my gosh, what an incredible fishing man and guy that shares his knowledge on his YouTube channel. But I joked, I'm like, a man's serious when he doesn't have a chair on his boat.
I'm gonna have a chair.
Oh, here he comes. Got him that time. Is that another nice one?
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Holy mackerel.
Just put the net in the water with the pole on it.
Man almighty. Another tank.
Oh, he bit me. He's a main one.
Dude, I think that one's even bigger than the last one.
We'll have the net over here out of the way.
Yeah, let's get the net where we can use it.
We gotta get this net situation under control. I'm about to panic. Oh my gosh, put it right up to that camera.
That's another slab.
Dude, that's a tank.
If I could go to the scale, the 7 like that.
What is that, 2.3?
That's probably a 190 right there.
Is it? Yeah. Not even 2.
Get that scale out. Let's weigh him.
There, got it. Woo, little one.
Little baby.
But boy, you can sure lose track of time doing this.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Nice little, that's a black crappie there.
Yeah, a lot of black crappie.
Now those big ones we caught, those were white crappie.
Whites, yeah.
Is that, the white ones get a little bit bigger than the black ones here?
Yeah, you want to fish the white crappie. You'll catch some decent black crappie, but...
Yeah. Jim, you sure you don't want your seat back?
I don't need my seat back. Man,
you got a great dad. I owe him a beer next time we get together. And speaking of getting together, man, thank you so much for today. I mean, this has just been so educational and so insightful on so many different levels. So we want you guys out there to, do you got a website that people can check you out on? Or?
Not really. Got a Facebook.
Facebook page?
Check me out, Jason Westerberg.
Yeah.
It's got all my tournament results and, to put all of our fishing stuff. That's really what I use it for. So, Yeah, that's it.
Jason Westerberg, great guy. If you've got questions, send out a message on Facebook.
Yeah,
you
message me on Facebook.
Very eager to teach, and man, I can't thank you for sharing this beautiful playground you have here in Arkansas.
It's been a blessing.
Lake Nimrod. So thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button so that you can see all the notifications and tips of the week. We're giving out tips of the week now too. So with all the stuff you shared with me, I'm sure we'll get a couple out of that. So
excellent.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank
you, Jim.
You bet.
Thank you. Okay. Now we're going to keep fishing because there's a big one right there.
There is a big one right there.
He is in there.
Thank you so much for watching Fish, Eat, Live. Our mission is to demonstrate the benefits of the Fish, Eat, Live lifestyle. We look forward to educating, entertaining, and attracting you to the healthy lifestyle of the great outdoors. We're definitely going to have some wholesome family fun on the water every Sunday at 6 p.m. So hit that subscription and that notification bell because we want you to come be a part of this.